Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the MylesHighClubPodcast. I am your host, Miles. This is episode 56. What's happening? I hope everyone is good out there. You know what I'm going to say. I hope everyone is feeling fantastic. Autumn's been here, okay? It's getting dark early. You're waking up to the dark. You're finishing work in the dark. It's that time. It is that time of the year. Halloween is this weekend. I have zero Halloween plans. There's an event. My boys have got an event on this Sunday, and I'm like, it's a day event, which I'm all for day events. Listen, finishes at 11 o'clock. That is like 2 hours too late for me. But 5 to 11, lovely little event time. I'm like, is it fancy dress? Is it not fancy dress? What happens if I turn up in fancy dress and no one else is in fancy dress? Vice versa. What about if everyone's in fancy dress and I just turn up as the boring bastard? And I was like, yeah. So I'm still debating whether to buy a ticket or not. No idea what I'm meant to be doing with the kids. What do people do for Halloween with children? I see a lot of people like, first of all, I'm not taking them trick-or-treating. I'm not going to walk up and down the street knocking all these random doors just to get them sweets. There's a cupboard full of sweets. I literally bought a big bag of Haribo Halloween edition sweets. So yeah, no one's messaged me about a party. I don't know any kids' parties. So if you're a parent and you do stuff for Halloween, please let me know what you do. My daughter's already been pumpkin picking. She's been with her mum. I was at football, so I couldn't attend. But she's been with her mum. They've been pumpkin picking. They've coloured the pumpkin. She loved it. I don't know what else there is to do. Christmas has started, okay? I've seen Christmas movies on TV. The Christmas channels are back. I'm seeing Christmas adverts everywhere. I'm hearing Christmas. I heard a Christmas song. Where was I? I can't remember where I was. I was in some sort of shop and there was a Christmas song playing. I was like, oh, tis the season, I guess. But let's jump in straight into it's not even, I was going to say a first topic. This ain't a topic. This is more of an announcement / warning. I'm not going to give any opinions on this. I'm just going to tell you what they are saying. And by they, I mean the government. So if anyone out there needs to make plans or prep, this is going to help you. So apparently, the government is being told to follow the science and implement Plan B COVID measures now. If you don't watch the news like me, you probably have no idea what Plan B is. I asked my mum. My mum is someone who religiously watches the morning news and the evening news. I was like, Mum, what's Plan B? She's like, I don't know. They just keep saying we need to do Plan B, but they never actually say what Plan B is. So, just in case you're wondering, I'm just giving you a heads up. Don't shoot the messenger. No opinions. I'm just giving you a heads up. People are telling the Chancellor that we need to immediately move to Plan B, which would advise people to work from home and it would bring back compulsory masks. Okay, feel how you want to feel. I'm just here to give you a heads up. There's also talks of a Plan C. I saw one article where they were like, no, fuck Plan B, skip straight to Plan C. So Plan C would include everything that I've just mentioned there, but it would also mean no more mixing of households. So whoever lives in your house, that's the only person allowed in your house. Again, I'm not saying this is happening. I'm not saying that this is what they are saying they are going to do. I'm just letting you know this is what people are telling the government to do. I get confused. I just thought the government was the government. You've got people in the health industry and all sorts. I think this was Labour. This was someone in Labour telling the Prime Minister, or the Chancellor, we need to do this. Otherwise, it's going to be peak. So, there you have it. I haven't seen or heard of any talks of a lockdown this year, but I'm just letting you guys know, if you hear Plan B, that means working from home and compulsory masks. So, if you're like me and kind of went a bit liberal and just got rid of all your masks, you might want to stock up just in case. Plan C, no mixing of households. So, if you're thinking about moving in with someone, moving out with someone, if you're currently living with people now, again, I'm just giving you a heads up. If you want to be able to chill at home for Christmas, another heads up. You might want to start making some plans now. Hopefully this Christmas isn't, I don't want this Christmas to be messed up. I want to be able to go and see family on Christmas. That's my Christmas routine. But yeah, there you go. There's my COVID warning or lockdown warning or whatever warning is. That's just a warning at the start of the podcast to let you know what may or may not happen throughout later this year. Moving on, we'll stick with sort of kind of the government. Insulate Britain. Have you guys heard about this Insulate Insulate Britain. I have. I'm sure you've all heard about Insulate Britain. If you haven't heard of Insulate Britain, you're thinking, Miles, I haven't heard of it. What is this? Have you heard about these protesters who are sitting on the floor and blocking up traffic in and around the London area? If you have, they are Insulate Britain. So, I have no idea. I have no idea. Me and my friends are talking about this. Like, I have no idea, apart from the research I did, I literally have no idea what Insulate Britain stand for. I couldn't tell you what they stand for. Whenever I see them on social media or the news, no one is ever talking about their points. I'm just watching angry motorists drag people from the middle of the road. Now, let me tell you this. As someone who has travelled quite a lot for work, these people mean it because they are choosing to piss off the angriest drivers in England. I can't say the world or the UK, but in England. Listen, I have travelled up north. Once you get around like the Warrington area and then just go upwards, everyone is nice. Everyone is nice and polite. Bus drivers, taxi drivers, lorry drivers, normal drivers. You walk into a cafe, a chip shop. Everybody up north is nice. I don't know why. I think it's because all their dads used to work together in coal mines, so everyone's just friends and they're just friendly, but everyone is just friendly. Down south, like past London, down south, they all seem moderately okay. They tend to be a bit more wealthy. They've got the beach close by. They're all happy. London, there is something. I think Birmingham has some shit drivers, but London, oh, they have the shit drivers. They have the angry drivers. They have the shit angry drivers. And that's who these guys are choosing to piss off. Which makes me think, I'm like, you guys must really, really care about this. But, the reason why I'm bringing up Insulate Britain today of all days, I don't know if you guys saw these stories. I'm just going to read the headline of this story for you and then we'll talk about it. Insulate Britain protester winces in pain as he glues his face to the road. I'm just gonna leave that there just so the people in the back can just be like, hold on, did he just say what I think he did? Let me just say it one more time. Insulate Britain protester winces in pain as he glues his face to the road. So, you've seen protesters before, people, they do like, I'm not going to eat, I'm going to starve myself. 9 times out of 10, when you see these protesters, they end up chaining themselves. They chain themselves to a fence, they chain themselves to a tree, they chain themselves to each other and stand around whatever it is they're protecting. Well, Matthew Tully decided to go 500 steps too far, not even one step too. He saw the line, ran over the line, and then just kept running, and then pulled out some PVA and glued his face to the floor. He was one of 52 people arrested yesterday during, well, not yesterday, but whenever this was, during Insulate Britain's demonstration during rush hour. Another one. They didn't do rush hour. He winced as his face was stuck to the road in the city of London and admitted it wasn't one of my better moves. Is that literally all he has to say? It wasn't one of my better moves. Now, this is my issue with Insulate Britain. Like I said, they have a heavy presence online. I mean, in the media. So in the media, whether it's TV media or social media, I'm seeing a lot. Whether it's videos of people getting out their car, picking up people and dragging them. Whether it's the video of some woman in a Land Rover who like nudges one of them with the car. She hits someone with a car, but it's not a hit. It's more like a nudge. It's like throwing a little, yo, get the fuck out of the way. You've seen people going mad that they're trying to get their kids to school. People are trying to rush to emergency appointments. You've got ambulances getting caught up and held up in all this. Nothing they are doing is bringing any sense to what it is they're trying to achieve. I hear Insulate Britain. I'm like, okay, they're an eco group, I'm assuming, and they have something to do with climate control. And that's all I could possibly tell you. Thank you very much for that, Alexa. Let me see if I can get the post up that I read previously. So here you go. This is what their demands are. So the protesters demand that the government insulate all social housing in the UK by 2025 and retrofit all homes with insulation by 2030. They have drawn a condemnation for figures from the background. So Insulate Britain is an environmental activist group formed by people involved in the global environmental movement Extinction Rebellion. The group began hosting both online and in-person events in July 2021, also raising money for direct action. They use civil disobedience as a tactic. So civil disobedience, for those that don't know, is the active, professed refusal of a citizen to obey laws, demands, orders, or commands of a government, corporation, or any other authority. So again, I need to go and do more research to find out where do we go, what's happening with this whole insulate. I understand how insulation works. You have insulation in your house. The better your house is insulated, the better it is at retaining heat inside the house. So the worse insulation, it just means that heat is escaping out your house. You're not feeling the effects from it, which then I'm assuming means you have your heating on longer, which is terrible for climate control. Listen, I'm not an expert at this, okay? I'm just reporting. I was only here to report the glue face story, but I thought I'd give you guys just a bit of background information on them. And this is my thing. My main thing about all of this is you're not getting your point. To me, you're not getting your point across. To my friends, you're not getting your point across. I spoke to a handful of people about this. I've said, have you heard of Insulate Britain? Some people say yes, some say no. For those that don't say no, I then say, the people protesting in the road in London, oh yeah, I've heard of them. Do you know what their purpose is? No. No one knows what their purpose is. And all people are saying is, you idiots, twats, not the negative, dickheads, idiots, stupid, unthoughtful, and they're not wrong for saying these things about, if you're part of Insulate Britain and you're watching this, come on the podcast and we'll talk about it. I just feel like the way you're going about it is completely wrong and you're drawing the wrong kind of attention. Like all this attention you're getting, if people were like, yo, look at what they're saying, I agree, we should do this, I wouldn't have any issues with it. But the fact that no one is talking about the issue, apart from you lot, and everyone else that's talking about it is talking about how idiotic everything you lot are doing, it should go, at some point, someone in this group should stop and say, guys, we're getting attention, but we're not getting the right attention. Like, people know we're here, but they don't know why we're here. They're just annoyed that we are here. So I feel like they need to do it a different sort of way. For example, when Black Lives Matter march, first of all, it's in the name, Black Lives Matter. If you stop someone, or if you see them or see what they're chanting about, you get a pretty rough idea of what people are annoyed about. People get the picture that much that even racist people know exactly what BLM is doing. They just don't agree. Like, racist people are like, oh, I know you're saying Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter. It's not like we're saying to Insulate Britain, oh yeah, we know you want to insulate all these homes, but what about no one is saying that. We're just saying you lot are stupid for doing whatever it is you're doing. And that's why I don't think it's working. These lot need to pull themselves out, sit down and rejig the whole conversation. I was going to tell them to incite. I don't know. Go smash windows on the House of Parliament so it's freezing cold inside. And be like, this is what it's like for people in less insulated homes. Again, to this point, I've looked online. I still can tell you apart from the retrofitting all homes by 2030 and insulating all social homes by 2025. I couldn't tell you what anything else that these guys want to do. It's just ass backwards. Best way of putting it is it's just completely ass backwards. Now, I'm going to do a big jump here. It's still within a group. I'm going to go from one group that makes no sense to another group which, personally, I think is doing some fantastic work. And we're going to go from England over to America. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of a group called DOD, Dads on Duty. I saw a video on WorldStar about this. And then I started seeing a whole bunch of different news articles when I actually researched it to make sure that this was a real thing. If you haven't heard of DOD, Dads on Duty, it's a bunch of Louisiana fathers form Dads on Duty group to help stop violence at their children's high school. So, what seemed to have happened is at a high school, at one high school in Louisiana, there were multiple fights over 3 days, to the point where I think they said 23 children, kids, young adults, they're at high school, so 23 kids were all arrested within 3 days because of fighting at the school. This quote from one of their interviews sums it all up. We're dads. We decided the best people who can take care of our kids are who? Are us, the group said. So what's happened? Simple as this. There is a group of 40 dads who take it in turn and run shifts on different days that will actually go to the school with the school's permission, of course. They are on school property, and they are actively walking around and just engaging with every single child in that school. And that's a fantastic idea. And what's even better is the kids seem to be enjoying it. Since the dads have been there, there's not been one incident, not one fight, not a scuffle, not a push. There's been nothing since these dads have been walking around on the school, since these dads have been walking around on the school campus. The news crew were there. I was watching one video, and the kids were just like, it's if it's not your dad that's there, it's like your friend's dad or someone you know's dad. So you have that respect for them. Like, they're dads, they're not teachers. 2, they're not being arseholes about it. They're not walking around like security. So they're not like dads in high-vis, big black sturdy men in high-vises walking around the school shouting at children. It's just a bunch of, they are big black men. I will give you, watch the video I saw, there were some strong looking Negroes. Just bright coloured t-shirts that just say dad's on duty, and they just walk through the school. And they're just talking to kids, like kids are walking past on camera, like, hey, you're on your way to class? Carry on. Firms in, dapping up kids. Yo, cool, like your trainers, new bag. All right, make sure you get to class. How did you get on in that test? You smashed it, yo. Well done. Telling dad jokes, like just awful jokes that are just making kids shake their head. But it's lifting spirits around the school. And I don't have much else to say on this fact. I just think it's fucking fantastic. Would that work over here with our kids? I couldn't tell you. I don't know what's going on in schools these days in the UK. I know what the kids are doing outside of school. I don't advise anyone's dad to be walking around the streets with the fucking 20-inch Rambos that these fucking kids are carrying. But in Louisiana, it's only at one school at the minute. They are hoping that it's successful enough that they can spread this across the remainder of the city/state and just get dads on duty in more and more schools, just having a presence. Again, you've got to think about the kids that don't have a dad, don't have someone that's like a father figure or a male role model in their life, that just a small conversation between two people, or just a small conversation between them and a father figure at school, that could just cheer them. It could just cheer them up. It could make things 10 times better by just having that reaffirmation of, there's someone here, I feel safe. They're not security, so I'm not worried about my health. They're not security, they're just dads, and they care about not only their kids, they care about all the kids here, and that's why they've done it. And I just think it's fantastic. So if you haven't heard about it already, just go and Google dads on duty and just go look at some of the work they are actually doing there. Right, I thought I'd finish on some positive news before we talk about this story. So, and things might come out moving forward that might make me change this statement. So let me just start this story by saying, rest in peace to Halna Hutchins. Commiserations to her family. And oh man, I feel so bad for Alec Baldwin. Let's get into it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Alec Baldwin was involved in a prop gun shooting on the set of one of his movies, Rust. So, the death of a 42-year-old director of photography while working on the movie set Rust in New Mexico after actor Alec Baldwin discharged a prop gun is just the latest on-set tragedy. So, I don't want to get this story wrong, so I'll try and read from the papers, but what actually happened is Alec Baldwin, he's an actor, he was on the set of a movie, he was handed a prop gun. So a prop gun is, let me Google what is a prop gun, because I thought a prop gun was just a fake gun, a gun that just looks hella real. So let me Google what prop gun means. So you type in prop gun, and it's the only thing that's coming up is this whole Alec Baldwin thing. So let me see if I can find. I thought a prop gun was a fake gun that they use on set, but this isn't the first time someone has been shot and killed by... Right, so hold on. Here we go. Right, many people assume that prop guns are always non-functional tools that look just like guns. However, sometimes real guns are used with the term meaning that they're only intended to be used as props. Using a real gun adds authenticity to close-up shots, not in just how it looks, but also how the actor lifts the handles and the weight of the weapon. When a real gun is used, there will always be a gun handler at hand to make sure it is used properly. This is because even when loaded with blanks, a real gun can easily kill or injure somebody. Boy. So, there you have it. People will just call a real gun a prop gun, and that means it's just intended to be used as a prop. So, right, they've spoken about this before, but yeah, so simple as that. Alec Baldwin, he was on set. From what I've read before, he aimed the gun like at the camera to sort of, it's one of those shots where it looks like he's shooting at the camera. He aims the gun, shoots, the gun goes off. Unfortunately, it hits the director of photography, Halna Hutchins, who was working on the movie, and it killed her and injured somebody else on set. I saw this, when I read this first, I thought Alec Baldwin had died, and then I read the story and read that he had shot someone, and I was like, not only would you feel terrible for shooting someone, you would then feel even more terrible knowing that the person you shot died from the bullet that you shot. And just, even though, I don't know if this is narcissistic or sociopathic, but knowing that you killed someone, but it's not your fault. I don't know how you could do that. I don't think I'd be able to kill someone and be like, you know what? I don't feel bad because it wasn't my fault. Nope. You know, you still took... It's like, did he take someone... That's the question. Like, did he kill someone? Technically, yes, because he was the one that fired the prop gun, but it's not Alec Baldwin's job to make sure that that gun is empty. Or that the gun is safe to use or anything like that. Like they said, there is a gun handler. There should have been there should be like 5 people that this shit goes through before the gun is placed in my hand. The actor, as the actor, as soon as you put this gun in my hand, I'm assuming it's safe. I might even say to you, "Am I good to go?" And you'll be like, "Yep." I don't know if Alex said that. This is what I'm thinking. And then you shoot it. Listen, the minute someone dies, someone needs to be arrested. Simple as that. I'm not saying Alec needs to be arrested, because like I said, unless something else comes out, he seems as innocent as anything to me. I personally believe someone needs to be held accountable and someone needs to be arrested for this. Who should be arrested? Well, first of all, the assistant director who gave Baldwin the loaded gun was fired from a film back in 2019. So, Alec Baldwin, this story happened, and then after this happened, I just kept seeing more and more stories. So, the assistant director of Rust, David Halls, was fired from the film Freedom's Path when a gun unexpectedly discharged and injured a crew member in 2019. One of Freedom Path's producers says Halls was removed from the set immediately after the prop gun discharged. Production did not resume filming until Dave was off site. I read this, and then there was a bunch of people from the old movie and from the new one that was saying he should never have been on the set of this movie, considering what he's had in the past. I'm trying to remove... So that's one of the stories that came out.
Someone is at the front door.
Someone's at my front door. No idea who it is. I'm waiting for Ring to show me, but I can't see anything. So, let me carry on with another story. So there's the assistant director who... Last time he was on a set 2 years ago, so it's not like it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago. This same assistant director was on a set of a movie, gave someone a gun, and that gun that gun unexpectedly discharged and actually let off a bullet and shot someone and injured them. They didn't die this time. Another thing that I then saw was the Rust crew members reportedly used the guns with live ammo before the deadly shooting. And I was like, hold on a minute, what? So, the Rust crew members reportedly used guns with live ammunition hours before Miss Hutchins was accidentally shot dead, the Rap chief executive Don Lemon said on Tuesday. The Entertainment News website reported that the crew members took part in plinking, an activity involving shooting beers of cans between sets. So anyone that's watched any kind of action movie that involves guns, there is... Like 90% of films that involve guns and shooting in armies, there's always some scene where there's one person that knows how to shoot a gun and another person or a bunch of people that have never shot a gun or an arrow before, and they go for that montage scene of setting up cans and then getting the guns and using target practice. We've all seen that in a movie before. Apparently, this is a thing that cast members do on the sets of films they'll go into the woods or they'll go into a desert. They'll go to a big, wide, empty space where it's safe, or they think it's safe, to fire guns. And what this is saying is that some of the crew members on Rust took some guns, went into the woods or wherever they went, and were shooting beer cans with live ammunition. And this was just hours before it happened. So, one of these crew members could have put live ammunition in this gun and not emptied the gun properly and then took it back. All I'm saying is someone needs to be held responsible. At least one person needs to be held responsible, and at least one person needs to be arrested for the murder of this woman. Not Alec. Again, unless Alec paid someone to leave it in there. I don't know anything. I don't want to put anything out there. But Alec Baldwin, someone should pay for this. And I mentioned it before. It's not the first time that this has happened on set. This happened to Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee. If you don't know who Brandon Lee is, Brandon Lee was on a film set for The Crow. I think it's The Crow a cult classic? I think they call it a cult classic. He was on set for A Crow. Same thing happened. He was shot and died on set, mistakenly, so they say. But there's all conspiracies around how Bruce Lee died, which lead into some conspiracies to how and why his son died. But yeah, I heard that story and I was like, there's so much to think about. Let's start with Alec Baldwin. What is he going through right now? Like, he just killed someone. He just unexpectedly, he turned up to work one day, was told, yeah, everything's safe, you just follow instructions. He was doing what he was supposed to do, and by the end of the day, he has killed someone. Like, he has that on his conscience for the rest of his life. No matter what anyone says to him, we can all say, Alec, it's not your fault. Someone should have prepared that gun. At the end of the day, his finger squeezed the trigger that shot the gun, that shot the bullet, or whatever it was, that killed someone. Horrible. I'm sure she was married. I think they said she was married. It was either a husband or boyfriend. How do you deal with that? Like, as the husband or boyfriend, or just a family member, just a loved one, like your loved one is shot dead. You hear your loved one's been shot and killed on set of a movie. Like, how's that loved one meant to react to Alec Baldwin? Because like I said, it's not Alec's fault. But at the same time, it was him that pulled the trigger. I'd like to think I'd be a big enough person and that I'd have enough understanding at the time to be like, okay, Alec, what you did has ruined my life, but I understand it's not your fault. Now we have to look at the cast and the crew members that went out and decided to start shooting these live guns. I'm assuming that this isn't new. They're not the first people to do this. It had a whole name. They called it plinking, I think they said. So it has a name. So people have done this before. Should you be plinking or shooting? Should you be putting live ammunition in guns when you know there is a gun to be used on set? Me personally, no. Should you be putting live ammunition into a gun or guns hours before you're about to start filming with said guns on set? No. There is some blame there. To me, and again, I don't know the story. I could be chatting shit. I don't know the story, but to me, there is some blame there on those cast members. Next, it said in here, the assistant director. I don't know if he was the gun handler or if there was a gun handler, but the assistant director is the one that passed the gun to Alec Baldwin. Who did he get the gun off? Did he get the gun off the gun handler? Off one of the cast members that was shooting? Did he just go to the... I've never been on a set before. Is there like a gun box or a gun cage or a gun safe that he just went to, picked up the gun and was like, yeah, this is the one we're using, Alec, there you go. Is that what happened? If so, he is to blame. If he got it from a gun handler, what was the gun handler doing? Like, apparently I read this, whenever there is a gun on set of a movie, there should always be a gun handler on set, making sure everything is 150% safe. That wasn't done this time. As you saw me, they said it here earlier, even if it's a real gun, even if the real gun is filled with blanks, it can still kill or injure someone. And again, they're on a set of a movie, stood behind a camera, so I can't imagine how far this woman was from Alec when he shot this weapon. She was just minding her own business, probably just staring down the barrel of the gun. She's the director of photography, so I'm guessing she was behind the camera, getting some pictures, making sure the shot looked good. And then she dies for doing her job. She died for doing her job. Alec Baldwin has killed someone by doing his job, and this is all because one or more person on set didn't do their job. Someone needs to be arrested. If this happened to a loved one of mine, I'm telling you now, someone needs to be arrested. That's all I'd be saying. Someone needs to be arrested. Someone has to pay for this. I've just lost my wife, mother, sister. I don't know if she was all these things. I'm just saying a life has been lost for no reason. An innocent life has been lost due to negligence. I can't imagine it being deliberate, but again, like I said, I don't know anything about the story. To me, so far, it just seems like negligence has played the biggest part in this whole story. I'm Googling prop gun now. Or actually, you know what? Let me Google Alec Baldwin. I'm going to Google Alec Baldwin right now. He's an American actor. Hold on a minute. Let me just see if you guys will know what Alec Baldwin's in. He's in The Boss Baby, but that's animated, but he plays the voice of the baby. Cat in the Hat. I don't remember who he is in Cat in the Hat. I know Alec Baldwin's face, but I can't tell you why. He's been on Saturday Night Live quite a lot, and he plays Trump. He does a good Trump impression. If you've ever seen someone doing a Trump impression, there's a good chance it was Alec Baldwin. But I'm looking through all of these things. I'm looking for all of these movies, and because I haven't seen some of these movies, I'm just not reading it out. But he was in Concussion. I don't know what role he played. The Aviator. My Sister's Keeper. Fun with Dick and Jane. His face on the front. Just Google Alec Baldwin. You'll see him and think, oh, Bob's seen him before. He's the one that did it. Google Alec Baldwin. Let's go to an overview to see what comes up. Criminal charges may be filed, prosecutor says. Firm's assistant director admits gun was not thoroughly checked. There you go. 20 seconds. Police recover bullet from gun actor used when he shot dead cinematographer. The way some of these people are saying this news, like it is true, but he didn't shoot her. Film set had 500 rounds of ammunition. Rust Armourer's insurer paid 50k. Motorcycle crash. Right, let me get into the whole. Let me get to the two stories here that looked like it was something interesting. So the first one, in an affidavit, Dave Halls told investigators he should have checked all the rounds as officials confirm gun contained live bullets. There you go. So it wasn't a blank that shot, it was an actual live bullet. Officials confirmed on Wednesday that live bullets, including the round it is believed killed cinematographer Miss Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza, were found on set of the movie Rust last week after actor Alec Baldwin fired a gun during rehearsal. It has also emerged that the .45 caliber Colt, which has been described by law enforcement as a legit antique gun, not a prop gun, was not thoroughly checked before being given to Baldwin, who fired the lead bullet, according to officials in a new court filing. Yo, whoever is supposed to check this gun, it's on you. This assistant director, whatever the guy just said, who's saying, yeah, the gun should have been checked more thoroughly. If you're meant to check the gun, you should be arrested for this. Not murder, manslaughter. I'll take manslaughter. Manslaughter is when someone dies but you didn't mean to kill them, like it wasn't premeditated. Unless it was premeditated, but I don't know how you'd be able to prove that he knew she would be behind the camera when Alec fired the gun, so manslaughter. Investigators said a lead projectile had been removed from the director's shoulder and that it appeared to be a live round. They said there was some complacency around the safety on set. All options are on the table. District Attorney has said no one has been ruled out at this point. We suspect there were live rounds on set. We're going to determine how those got there, why they were there, because they shouldn't have been there. He said police have recovered 600 pieces of evidence so far, including 3 firearms and 500 rounds of ammunition. And then, who said this? Sheriff Mendoza also said the projectile removed from Joel Souza's shoulder had been handed over as evidence. I think the facts are clear. A weapon was handed to Mr. Baldwin. The weapon was functional and fired a live round, killing Miss Hutchins and injuring Mr. Souza, he said. I don't need to say anymore. I don't need to hear anymore. Someone needs to be... Oh, just knocked my mic there. Someone needs to be arrested. Simple as that. Simple as that. Right, let's move on from the Alec Baldwin shooting, and we're going to jump straight into What's on the Box, the weekly segment where I talk about what new film, TV show, trailer I have seen or I'm excited to see. This week, it's all about Dune. So, was it last week? Not Sunday just gone, but the Sunday before that, I went to watch Venom. Shit. 2 out of, I don't know what I get. Did I give it a 2 out of 5? It's like a 1 out of 5. The longer I think about this movie, the worse it got in my head. 2 out of 5. It's not a 1. It's a 2 out of 5. I wouldn't give it a 3 out of 5. It's like a 2.5, 2 to 2.5 out of 5. Next, we're going to talk about Dune. I'm going to attempt to not give any spoilers, okay? I'm not going to give any spoilers. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the movie. I've literally written here, Dune, dope film. I would give Dune a 4 out of 5. If it wasn't for the slow start that I thought it had, it's a 2.5 hour film. I'd say the first 30 minutes to an hour can be considered a slow start, depending on what you're into. But that's that. Another thing I said about the film is I've said here, nothing happens, but at the same time, a lot happened. That's the... If you understand me, you understand me. If you've seen the movie, you should understand what I'm saying. I felt like throughout the whole movie, like in terms of the movie, nothing happened. I was going to say nothing major happened, but at the same time, some things did happen that drive the plot. So I think what happened for me is until the very end of the movie, this isn't a spoiler, but until the very end of the movie, I didn't realise that this movie's coming out in parts. So this Dune film, which is just called Dune, was part 1. It's not called Dune Part 1. You watch it, it's literally called Dune, and at the end of the film, it pops up saying Part 1. So there are more parts coming. Haven't done my research to find out how many more parts. From what I've seen, you can give it as many more parts as you need to. I will take 1 more part. I will happily take 2 more parts and turn it into a trilogy. I don't know how 3 more parts I'd feel about, but 2 more parts. I'd happily take 2 more parts and turn this into a trilogy. So even though I said nothing happened, but at the same time, a lot happened. It's a slow burner story. It's, in terms of action, there is action. There is actually quite a bit of action throughout the film. I just felt like nothing happened, but that's how good the film was. The film was that good that I can say nothing happened, but a lot happened and give it 4 out of 5. I've written down here, it's the perfect blend of storytelling, action, and mystery. Here's why. They didn't advertise, or I didn't see Dune getting advertised as a part film, like a part 1. I didn't get it seen advertised as a setup movie, as an explanation movie. And what I mean by that, Power Rangers. The very first Power Rangers movie, like the newer Power Rangers, like the most recent Power Rangers movie, that was meant to be part of a 5-movie series. We all knew this before the film came out. Because of this, they spent the first 90% of the first Power Rangers story building, plot building, to the point where you don't see a Power Ranger until the end of the movie. You don't see the Power Rangers fighting until the very end of the movie. And even then, I might have to go back and watch it. 5 minutes? 5 minutes of Power Rangers Power Ranging? Apart from that, it's just it's a movie about some naughty high school kids that all go to the same high school and all meet each other over a minefield and find these special gems. It was shit. To the point where the Power Ranger directors, they had zero faith because they were like, if this does really well at the box office, we're going to start filming, we're going to start production on the second movie right away. They never started production on that second movie. As far as I'm aware, there isn't another Power Rangers movie coming out. Fantastic Four did the same thing. If you've watched this podcast, even just one of this podcast by now, there's one thing you could say about me and put your house on it, is that I'm a Marvel fan. I, to this day, still haven't watched the latest Fantastic Four. Saw nothing about bad review. All I saw was bad reviews. I thought the trailers looked crap. I've seen reviews and scores. Everything looks crap. And not like a good crap, like Wild Wild West. To me, Wild Wild West is good crap, okay? Say what you want about that film. It's my guilty pleasure. It's a good crap film. Fantastic Four just seemed crap, and they did the same thing. They spent the whole movie trying to build the story and build the characters. They didn't give you anything else because they were waiting for the next movie. But it flopped, so we didn't get a next movie. The Mummy, starring Tom Cruise, that was supposed to build the dark universe, which is why Jekyll and Hyde, for some random reasons in the Mummy film, it was meant to create a new dark universe. It flopped. Dune, to me, hasn't done that. Like I said, I am waiting for part 2. Now that I know there's a part 2, enough happened in part 1 to keep you... Enough happened in part 1 for you to say, I understand the story, I understand the characters, what's happening. I understand what they're trying to do, but what happens next, I can't wait for the next one. Perfect blend. The storytelling is bang on. They do show, don't tell, show, don't tell, show, don't tell. If you don't know what show, don't tell means, even though it's in the title, it is show me, don't tell me. A lot of movies start with narration, which is always full of exposition at the start, which means you go to a movie, the movie starts, and before the movie starts, you hear a voice talking, and the voice will say, oh, a long time ago, there was a prince. The prince's mom died. The prince's dad then took over, and the prince's dad fell in love with a woman who was evil. She took over the kingdom. It's now up to the prince to rise and take back the kingdom and save his dad from the evil witch. That's exposition. That's them basically telling you what has happened. Whereas a good movie, in the first 2 to 5, maybe the first 10 minutes, would just show you that. They would go back in time, they would show you the king and his wife dying and a nuke. I'm sure I've just read the plot to Snow White. I'm sure that's what the plot to Snow White is. But, never mind. Back to what I'm saying. Perfect blend of storytelling where they show you the story. They don't tell you much. There's no narration that I can think of. They drop bits of explanation in through vocals and through talking, through scripting, throughout the movie, but not so much where it's like one scene and it's just a big exposition dump of someone explaining everything. It's all done throughout the movie in a fantastic way. The action, I know I said nothing happens. Nothing happens in the sense of, if you watch Infinity War and then watch Endgame, nothing happens in Endgame until you get to the very end and there's the big fight. Whereas in Infinity War, there's action and fights all the way throughout that movie. Same with Dune. If I think about action with Dune, I don't want to... Spoilers, even though I'm not going to give any information away, I'm just going to say, in Dune, there is, to me, one big action scene, a few other little action scenes scattered throughout. Are they important? Who knows? Some of them are story building things. Like, some of the action was purely just so you could understand how that world works. And then the mystery. Oh, there is so much mystery and drama built into this. Like, who is she? Who is she? Why is he having these dreams? What's the voice? How does the voice work? Why is he... So many questions I had that I know... I have faith that they're going to get answered in the next movie or the next few movies. The next few movies coming in. Casting, on point. Every single member of this cast is on point. I usually shout out Marvel for their casting in movies, which is why I can't wait to see Eternals, because I want to see how Angelina Jolie is going to do. But... the guy that plays the main character, Timothée Chalamet, bang on. Zendaya, there is not enough Zendaya in this movie. That's my only complaint. Rebecca Ferguson, dope. Jason Momoa's character, dope. Oscar Isaac, I love Oscar Isaac, dope. Stellan, I thought he was called Steven. Stellan Skarsgård, Batista. I had a conversation with my friends a few weeks ago about whether or not we like Batista as an actor. I personally have no issues with him. Bang on. Josh Brolin's in this. David Dastmalchian, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He plays Polka Dot Guy in the newest Suicide Squad. Just every person that is in this is just cast brilliantly, and they knock every single performance out of the park. I have nothing else to say. Go and watch Dune. 4 out of 5. I'm trying not to give any of the story away. I don't want to go into like a deep dive on the story and talk about it like that. But that's my non-spoiler, maybe a little spoiler review of Dune. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it now. 2.5 hours. No post-credit scene. Yeah, there's no post-credit scene. It's just a dope movie. And now I'm sat here like, when's the next one? Give me some information. When's the next one? How long have I got to wait? Please be next year. The end of next year, I'll take. Give me 2 more parts a year apart, like Infinity War, and the next year it was Endgame. Give me Dune, and then whatever you're going to call the next movie, and then whatever you call the movie after that. 1 year apart. I don't want to have to wait that long. There we go. And lastly, another thing that got me, I don't know what about this got me so excited. I just got really excited. The Lightyear trailer has dropped. If you don't know what Lightyear is, it's a Buzz Lightyear film. I was going to say live action, but it's not live action because it's animated. Because as far as I'm aware, Buzz Lightyear is voiced by Chris Pratt. That's all I can remember them saying from before. There's a black Buzz, or there's a black Lightyear person. There's a black female Lightyear person. I think In the trailers, like some doors open and there's like a purpley red smoke. I think that might be, is it Zorg? I think he's called Zorg, the bad guy. Whatever the bad guy in Buzz Lightyear's enemy is called in Toy Story. Him. It looks dope. From what it looks like, so if you go into the Toy Story universe, Buzz Lightyear's a toy. And when he's talking about Zurg, not Zorg, Zurg, when he's talking about Zurg and the Galactic Empire and all this, to Infinity and Beyond, that's the toy's backstory. This film is based on the Buzz Lightyear backstory. So it's not in the Toy Story universe. I think it's completely separate, but it's Buzz Lightyear's background story as a film. The animation looks fantastic. The 1.5 minute clip that I saw looks fantastic. Everything, that's all I can say. Everything looks fantastic. I can't wait for this film. It comes out summer 2022, they said. So next summer, Lightyear drops. Can't wait for that. And then next week, Friday, the 5th of November, Eternals drops. Oh, I'm so excited about Eternals. I've been avoiding spoilers because they did a premiere view where, like, if you're important, like you're a celebrity or important enough, you get invited to watch the movie. So I know a bunch of people watched the movie like last week or the week before. And I'm glad that someone I watched said this, because apparently someone has ruined the end credits and has given away like a massive spoiler to the film. I've done well to avoid this on Twitter and Reddit. I don't know how I haven't seen it yet, but fingers crossed I keep doing well and just keep avoiding whatever shit it is that is coming my way, because I'm just not here for it. I don't want any part of it. But ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to the end of another Miles High Club podcast. If you've made it this far, you know what I'm going to say. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Right, if you're listening or watching this now, subscribe. Right, it literally takes 3 seconds. You can do it while I'm still talking. Just click the subscribe. There you go, done. No, it wasn't hard at all, was it? And while you've done that, under this video, there's a little thumb. Click that thumb. That's a like. I'm here to beat the algorithms, okay? Otherwise, it just means I'll just be spending money on adverts to push it out into the masses. And I don't want to do that. I want to try and gain a lot of people do ads. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm trying to gain a generic audience. No, an organic audience and an organic following. So share and like, help me beat these algorithms. Get in the comments and let me know what you think. Should someone go to jail? Someone should go to jail for this Alec Baldwin shooting. I don't know who, but someone. That's all I have to say on it. I've been Miles. You've been watching. Until the next time, peace.